It's about reaching people to where they are and offering events and activities to serve them. And I started last year with the women's empowerment with 7 women, and I now have 63 women.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I've grown now. Like, we're all Harford County, Baltimore County, some from Towson, but now I just started one in Worcester County. And now that I'm also in Costa Rica, I am beginning a women's empowerment here in Costa Rica. And my next massive thing that I'm so passionate about is also doing one for adolescent girls. So not
Wow.
just adolescents, I have elementary, middle school, and adolescent.
So
So now,
important. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Tim here with the TMA Connection, your local podcast that is focusing on people that are making a difference in the lives of others. Yes, and today we got our first global, worldwide podcast interview with a return guest who was originally in episode 10, and because of being in episode 10, had a great interview. You were actually the second most downloaded podcast with the TMA Connection out of 44 some episodes.
are you
So,
serious?
yeah, yeah. So, coming to
Woohoo!
you live from Costa Rica. Did I say that with good accent there? Costa
That sounded
Rica.
amazing. I know I
We
should say
got Paige
hola.
Dixon on the podcast. Thank you for joining us, Paige. How you doing?
Ah, that's amazing. Hi. It's
Yeah,
so funny to be first international yet. We're from the same backyard.
exactly. Well, we're taking this worldwide now, so we're big time,
We're
and
doing it. It's big.
you're the very first. So when this
Woohoo!
podcast blows up in a few years, you can always say that I was the first global guest on the TMA Connection. So
Amazing.
today we're going to be talking about our Village Wellness, which is a organization, a group, a gathering of people that are really doing good things for women. And so, Paige, give everybody a little bit of background about what our Village Wellness is, and what was the inspiration behind starting this group.
Absolutely. So our village, I believe, is about 5 years old now. And it started pretty much because, I owned a school. I was a field hockey coach, high school field hockey coach, and just people and the women that I would speak to, you would always hear so much concern and pain and worry, and they would just discuss it amongst themselves. But I always felt like there was more out there to give them the knowledge they need to live their best life. That's kind of how I kept starting. I was like, we need to be living our best lives without so much fear, without so much worry. And working with children and adolescent girls, I really felt like we needed to start with them, more or less like planting seeds of kindness, planting seeds in them about body image, and because these were the fears that I was hearing from the moms, more or less. And so I started an event, and I just came up with the name Our Village because I thought it takes a village. So in this event, I pulled everybody together that I possibly could have. I brought someone to talk about social media dangers, trafficking.
Mm.
I brought someone in that I call staying bully proof. What does it mean to stay bully proof? How do we take the power away from a bully, understanding a bully? I had someone talk about kindness and just brought tons of professionals in. I did this in a barn in Pilesville, sold out at 75. It was absolutely amazing. I had every vendor you could possibly think of, from how to fly a plane to doing Girls on the Run to all kinds of things where girls can connect to. Girl Scouts. It was absolutely an amazing event. And 3 days later, I received an anonymous letter in the mail from a mom who wanted to thank me that on their way home, her daughter had shared with her that she was going to commit suicide.
Mm,
And that what she had learned at that event was that was not the way.
right.
And I was like, okay, our village is born. I know, I
Yeah.
don't care if that was 775 people in that room or just 75 or just seven. That
Yeah.
event was meant for that girl. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So, I started really working with adolescents, girls, did a lot more events. But in this, again, I'm hearing a lot from moms and women. So I was like, gosh, we got to help these moms that are trying to balancing life and worry about their kids. So I started a series called You're Enough. Did some dinners, did some teas. Again, our village, I know what I know. But there are people out there that we need to pull together that we can help somebody mind, body, and soul. So every event I have done is sold out. And then COVID hit, and kind of changed a little bit for the
Hmm.
good and for the bad. And then, the You're Enough series with women was kind of just focused on moms. And there are women out there that would love to join, but wasn't a mom. And you're right. Some amazing women decide they don't want to be moms, or maybe, they want to be moms one day. So I got rid of that and I started a group called Women's Empowerment. When it's all women, all walks of women, wherever you are in your life, whether
Mm,
you are 25 and just starting a career, or you are 85 and widowed or empty nester, it doesn't matter where you are. And I host events. It's our village is also it's an outreach program, so I host events. I have a degree in child development and special education. Went back to school and for cognitive behavior. I have certification in life coaching and in mental health,
mm,
but I don't know nutrition, like, so if we got to
sure.
talk about gut health or nutrition, another big topic that I love to talk about is loss, not just loss of death, but loss of a job, broken family, not speaking to a family member anymore, all those things that we go through, I want to expose in this group. So I have different things that we do, whether it's a virtual tea that's tomorrow called Spill the Tea, where it's an open roundtable discussion. We do book clubs. I do galas. We do dinners. We make vision boards. It's just a bunch of women coming together and just sharing where they are in this world and what's going on with their lives. And, 2024 is a big year. My heart is really pulling to me to expose what I call the muck. So, the first 4 years, I'm like, you know, let's live our best life. Well, what is that? It looks differently for everyone. But in order to live your best life, you got to get through the muck. And we don't
Hmm.
talk about that muck. We don't talk about, the pain and the anxiety and the fear, of setting boundaries, walking away, making the decision that this path I'm on, or this person in my life, or, this man or woman that I'm married to isn't there. Oh my gosh, it can go on and on and on. But if it doesn't serve you, then how do we pivot? And we
Mm,
don't talk about the decision to make the pivot to get to where we need to be. So mainly, like, a lot of my, like, spill the tea conversations, it's about that. It's about getting through that difficult time, and kind of diagnosing the people in your life,
hmm.
um, your values that are going on, the circle that you keep, that kind of thing. So, in a very long-winded explanation, it's about reaching people to where they are and offering events and activities to serve them. And I started last year with the women's empowerment with 7 women, and I now have 63 women.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I've grown now. Like, we're all Harford County, Baltimore County, some from Towson, but now I just started one in Worcester County. And now that I'm also in Costa Rica, I am beginning a women's empowerment here, in Costa Rica. And my next massive thing that I'm so passionate about is also doing one for adolescent girls. So not
Wow.
just adolescents, I have elementary, middle school, and adolescent.
So
So now
important.
we're
You know,
gonna
the
we're gonna start
pressures
hitting the
that young
schools.
females have to, go through as they grow up, and
Yeah,
the pressures of what society says and all that. I mean, I have three daughters, and I can certainly speak to that.
absolutely.
It's very challenging growing up a kid, let alone a female. You know.
Yeah, and but I also want to add, I'm so focused on females that, I don't want to forget about the boys. That definitely the suicide rate is much higher in males,
Hmm.
mainly because they have been taught to hold their feelings in. I owned a preschool for 25 years, and I would see the parent, the little girl in the sundress falls down and we swoop her up and you okay? Oh, let's dust your knee.
Sure.
A boy
Sure.
falls down and that dad is like, get up, you're not
Suck it up.
bleeding, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So
Yep.
it's such a young age. So, it's important that we do reach that is, in my horizon is to get to boys, as well. So I always feel a little guilty because I'm always like so focused on females, but yeah, we need to, you know, remember the
Yeah.
boys too.
So from the people from Oyster County and the Harford County area, Baltimore County, Costa Rica, how are you tying all this together? Is it into one women's empowerment group, or are they just several different
Yeah,
groups?
so I just began growing.
Hmm.
So my thought process is, I offer things virtually and in person.
Yeah.
My virtually is, my spill the tea, the book club, that's all virtual. And I do virtual business meetings and all that. That would be offered to all. And then as we do more in person, I will offer in person. So what I do in Harford County, I would also offer in Worcester County, and then when I'm in Costa, do it in Costa as well.
Yeah, but and to a certain extent too, you have to kind of appeal to the dynamics of the group that you're working with too, because what might
Yeah.
work in one area might not be as effective in another area. You
Yeah,
know?
that'll be interesting to find out. Like it'll
Yeah.
be kind of one of those things that, you learn as you go.
Hmm.
And, I can't think that the issues that we have women in the United States are very similar to the issues you have in, Costa Rica or other parts of the country, maybe a little bit different in
Hmm.
some aspects, but I would think it was kind of all very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll learn as we go on that one.
Definitely, definitely. I think that's awesome. I'm excited to see your growth there.
Thank you.
What are some of what do you think you've mentioned a couple things throughout the conversation, but what do you think are the most prevalent or impactful issues that women are facing, and how can our Village Wellness really support those challenges?
Mm. You know, the thing about mental health and anxiety and depression and, just loneliness, the umbrella of it is so massive. The
Yeah.
spectrum is so massive that it's hard to like put a spectrum on something. But I would say lately, the one thing I mostly hear in with these women is the bonding, how
Mm.
important the bonding community of women is really important. And statistically, we we thrive on that. It's just
Hmm.
our part of the DNA.
Yeah.
Some women choose not to and they love the, kind of that loner kind of thing. That's perfectly fine. But most women love the community of women and start talking about, menopause or admitting that it's not fun to be a mom today because their 5-year-old is being a hellion. It's like
Yeah.
it's that community of like saying, oh, this isn't fun. I think the older generations like my mom, my grandmama, there was a point where we couldn't discuss that. Like everything had to be okay. We had the white picket fence and the dog and everything surface level, and that's
Hmm.
just, I think more we expose anxiety and all that comes with it. It's allowing us to say, oh, today sucks. And, the message I want to get is it's good. Like the book club we're getting ready to do, it's called Build a Life You Want.
Hmm.
And basically, it's the science behind getting happier. It's the fact that, to be happier doesn't mean we're happy every time and it's good morning, good night. It's not a
Hmm.
Dr. Seuss episode. It's understanding that to be happier, you do have to have sad days. You do need to feel your anxiety. You do need to go through that because those are red flags to say something needs to change or something isn't going right or, what, maybe I did something, maybe something in my life isn't going okay, but they're just little flags to say, hey, we need to reevaluate something. So,
Yeah.
and it's unrealistic to say, you know, I'm going to live happily ever after. That's
Right.
just not life.
And I think it's probably reaffirming that if I'm going through issues, troubles, pressures in life, that there is a community of people who are also going through those things, that I'm not alone.
Yes,
That there are people that are going through the same things, and through your experiences, you personally have now been able to maybe take some of the things that have gone, um, in a bad way in your past, and now are creating a way to create that support for other people as well, acknowledging that you're not
100%.
perfect, and you don't have all this figured out. I don't think anybody has it all figured out, but when you
No,
have an environment and a support system behind you to say, you know, it's going to be okay.
100%, Tim. And that's why I call it our village.
Yeah.
It takes a village, and when I do events, I reach out to speakers that talk about where the women are. I listen
Hmm.
to, I'll offer something, a thing of menopause. Let's understand menopause, what's happening to our bodies. Or let's have someone talk about when we're pregnant. And, it's like, it's all, it's just offering them the education. I really talk a lot about educating yourself. Listen
Hmm.
to podcasts, read books. I have tons of books that I read that I am happy to share on, you know, overthinking, like just anything because I read a lot and I educate myself a lot. It's the reason why I went back and got, 3 undergrads. It's a little ridiculous, but I just wanted to know. And I apply it all to myself too.
Hmm.
And I think too, sometimes we go through things, death, divorce, what have you, and it's so sad and it's so depressing. But what I like to kind of spread the message is that, yeah, that was a rough chapter in your life. Like that was a really tough journey, but look how much you learned.
Yeah.
And then let's pass that to someone else that's about to go through that. And it kind of gives us a purpose of why we've gone through it.
Hmm.
Like, it's for instance, a couple years ago, I have clients that I meet with, a lot of adolescent girls that I do life coaching with, and a lot of them had panic attacks and they sounded awful. And then one day I experienced my first panic attack,
Mm.
first of many. And oh my gosh, it was one of the worst things you could go through. But I was actually, in some ways, relieved because it gave me that insight to what these girls are feeling
Yeah.
and this understanding of, oh, wow, that's so let's talk about it because I've had one too, So I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
think these things we give through, it can kind of give a different spin of a purpose now.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
certainly when you first originally started Our Village Wellness, you had that really, that key moment of that girl who said that she was planning on committing suicide. Um, but your event kind of helped her. Is there another like really impactful time, a rewarding time for you that has just really made you feel like I am in the right place doing the right thing?
Every event I do,
Every event. Yeah.
every event I do, the feedback the next day
Hmm.
is so inspiring. Like it just, you coached. Like,
Yeah.
so when you like have that really great game that
Hmm.
after that game, you can't sleep. You can't, like, you're just, your adrenaline is just so pumped.
Yeah.
That's how I feel after every event, after every talk, after every time. It's that just I just feel the universe is like, you're on it, like you're on it. And also having that feeling of like, if it was just one person, it's that's what it was for. But the feedback every time, it's just spectacular.
Yeah. Well, you get the if you get the opportunity to let's say you meet in a Starbucks. Do they have Starbucks over in Costa Rica?
They do not.
They do not.
They do
Hmm.
not. They have, but we have better than Starbucks. We have these cute little coffee shops, these cafes that are right on the beach. Yeah, they're
Okay,
amazing.
so you're life coaching one of your clients.
Hmm.
Let's just say she's a teenage girl, and you're sitting down in the cafe and going over some of the things. What are some of the messages that you want to get across to young women
Yeah,
about where life is going, what they're going through? Um,
I love that. I love
yeah.
that. Number one, they're not alone.
Mm,
Number one, they're not the only one going through this. Young girls and boys, they have this feeling, they're still young and they don't know, it's literally, I was just talking about this morning. Now being 50, you could wish you could say, oh, when I go back,
yeah.
when you're 40, you say, I know I will go back. They can't go back yet.
Right.
So they're learning, so many things, and it's so overwhelming and it's scary, and they're in this box and they can't see out. You
Hmm.
know, the number one thing is they're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the first person that's gone through this, and they're supported and they're loved no matter what,
Hmm.
and we screw up and tomorrow's another day, and all these things, whether it's fear or mistakes or whatever it is, you have to do that. You have to go through that to learn your lessons and to get wherever that you inspire to be, because it's different for every single person,
Hmm.
but I think they have so much fear because they don't know the unknown and knowledge. They're dealing with a bully. It's the knowledge of knowing what's going on with that bully. Why are you being targeted? How to take that power away. Those things. Body image is a big one. They
Hmm.
can be, all girls are absolutely beautiful, but it's seeing the beauty within themselves. And another one with girls is jealousy. That's an emotion we don't talk about. And
Hmm.
jealousy in girls presents itself as anger, so it's understanding those emotions as well. So it's just having a very real, authentic conversation with a girl and just getting real about it,
Hmm.
and opening up in a very safe place that is unconditional love and no judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. From a personal perspective, knowing what I, knowing my family, and I have a 21-year-old daughter, 20-year-old daughter, and a 14-year-old daughter. And so there are these moments in life where you're transitioning to, being a kid to being a young adult, to being a young adult to becoming a parent, and
Yeah.
then having to do those transitions throughout life. What do you tell a girl or boy uh, that really just doesn't have a clear vision or understanding of what the next step is?
Yeah, I'm actually going through this right now with my youngest, and she's pivoting.
Hmm.
And when you're young and you kind of want to pivot or make a change or step away from somebody, you give, especially as a parent, you give them that space and you give them the love and the excitement in it.
Hmm.
Like, I am so proud. I mean, can you imagine at our daughter's age to want to pivot in life or make a decision in life. Like, I'd much rather make them make a decision now
Yeah.
until they're 30. Like, I have pivoted so many times in my life from,
Right.
careers and marriage and so much, and to make it, it's terrifying, but I'm so relieved that I did that. You want to give them that space to say how proud you are of them,
Hmm.
to recognize the fact that they're going through a change right now, and this change should be looked at as exciting,
Yeah.
even though it's scary and you might have to pull away from friends because most girls are so triggered by their peers,
Hmm.
um, that you just want to encourage them to go, whatever this moment is, go through it and be excited about it and try. The fear is just the fear. Majority of the fear is just because of change.
Yeah.
And the change is because you've done something the same way all the time. And your brain is saying, what the heck do you think you're doing right now? We've never done anything like this. This is scary. But ultimately, it's also your brain telling you this is new and it's different, and keep going. Like,
Right.
be excited. Like, kind of try to pivot that feeling of fear into excitement, and reevaluate the people in your life. Constantly reevaluate, like, who's holding you back, who's sending you negative thoughts, like,
Mm.
and keep going. And that's what I'm hoping my girls group does, that's getting ready to start in February, is to kind of give them that inspiration, um, to depending what, I mean, I have third grade through fifth grade, I have middle school, and then high school. So depending where you're discussing, but if you're with the older girls, you can have these real conversations of, you know, what's going on in their life, whatever that may be. But just
Yeah.
be excited and be educated.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, to reaffirm what you said, is just showing them that you love them and you support them no matter what, because it's their life, and whatever they choose to do, you're going to be behind that, unless it's something that's going to harm themselves, but
Absolutely. Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
But yeah, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for that.
yeah, absolutely. And I think too, as parents where we are, because we're the same age, this amazing shift has happened with parents. We have learned, my parents are amazing, don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, but we're raised a certain way. So you kind of start parenting the same way you're raised until you
Mm.
start realizing that we're in different times now.
Yeah.
My daughter wanted to get a tattoo at 18. You're 18, I'm going to tell you, when you are 50, you're going to regret it, but you're going to, who am I going to hold you back from doing that? It's not that, that coming down on, the child, I mean, I talk to girls that parents aren't accepting and they want them to do things their way. And I can't express it enough. The anxiety, these kids already have enough anxiety,
Yeah.
to know as parents, you're putting even more judgment and not so unconditional love. It tears a kid apart, especially a young adult.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got a lot of great things coming up for all different age groups, from adults to kids to everywhere in between. If people want more information about what you're doing and to be able to get involved in this, great organization, how can people connect with you?
Thank you. Mostly social media. Find me on my Facebook page, message me. I always offer texting information back, but I always say, would you like to talk? And in talking, especially with moms will call for my girls group, to join my girls group. I'm like, let's talk about you for a minute. You sound like you need some extra love. And I was like, do you know about my women's group?
Hmm.
So a conversation's good. So you can find me anywhere: Instagram, Facebook. Um,
And that's at Our Village Wellness.
Yeah, it's Paige at Our Village Wellness. You can find
Okay.
me there. Facebook, I'm just Paige Dixon. I do have a women's empowerment group Facebook page. Yeah, just find me. Let's connect and let's see.
I've seen a lot, and this is why you're on the interview today, is because I have seen a lot coming up for this women's empowerment group. Is there anything particular that you want to highlight while we're here?
Yeah, I mean, if you choose to really kind of dive into what we got going on, I can always welcome you into, we have a Facebook Messenger group and it kind of just lights up with all the stuff going on. We do have tomorrow, we have our second series of Spill the Tea, where, as I talked about before, we're talking about the muck we go through, looking into 2024 and how, living our best life means it's not always going to be pretty. We're going to discuss that. I have a book club that's new. And then in March, we do have an in-person meeting. I have a spring gala coming. And I am going to do a weekend retreat for women coming up this spring as well. A whole weekend
Man,
away.
man, lots going on there, Paige. Lots going
Yeah,
on. That's
good
awesome.
stuff.
Well, again,
Thank
please
you.
connect with Paige. And if you're interested or even interested in supporting her endeavors, I think it's amazing. I want to acknowledge you just for the positive energy that you put out there into this world.
Thank you.
You're so infectious in conversation, even greater in person. I know we're separated by the Caribbean Sea, I guess, or but but every time we get to connect, it's just you bring a light to me and to everybody that knows you.
Thank you.
So thank you so
Thanks, Tim.
much.
Right back at you.
Y-
You and I do so well to get like we both feed off of
Yeah.
each other. We're good.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
that.
So yeah, connect with Paige on Facebook and Instagram. You can also connect with us. And please, this was a good one. So please share this with somebody that will need it. Social media, it spreads like wildfire when you like, comment, and share. So please do that. Subscribe to us on YouTube at the Markland Advantage. And thank you so much. This is
Thank
awesome.
you so much. It
You're
was
very welcome.
awesome.
Hey,
Thank
until
you.
next time, folks, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Yay. Goodbye. Thank you.